During her time on Frenemies, Trisha made it a point to speak out on behalf of survivors who had been victimized, stating that not only did she stand by them and always would, but that everyone should because it wasn't okay to doubt a survivor's story.
This is 2021. We stand by victims. We stand by people.
She fought hard for the mentality that survivors should always be believed, arguing that you should never bring up a victim's past to try to villainize them, because bad things that people have done doesn't mean that bad things can also happen to them.
The argument is so stupid. Even now when I call people out, like if I'm like, oh, you don't wear a mask, and they're like, well, you said the N-word 10 years ago. I'm like, okay, well, you can't. Like, I hate when people bring that stuff up just because, like,
that's the story of my life.
Except he had like other issues going on with him, and it's like just because like he did something bad doesn't mean something bad can't happen to him. Like, you know what? It's so crazy to me, that mentality.
She even stated that it was bad karma to not believe a survivor and heavily shame those who doubted a survivor's story.
Saying shit like this publicly about the Jake Paul allegation. Now, you guys remember Justine Paradise? She came out against Jake Paul saying that she was essayed forcefully. You guys have all seen that. We talked about it. So here's Keemstar's take on that situation. Now, I guess I should issue a trigger warning. This is very offensive and horrific.
Hey, guys. I need to do a drama alert today on the Jake Paul allegations, and quite frankly, I do not believe the alleged victim, and I don't want to just
love that just right out the gate. I don't believe her, but wait till you hear why.
This is bad karma already. He has bad energy coming his way to say this about someone. Like, I don't wish it on him, but like this is bad to put out there like that.
Dude,
it makes me feel like really uncomfortable for him. This will get me in trouble, but I feel like, because I know people are like, you shouldn't bring his kids into it, but like honestly, this person shouldn't have a daughter. Like, this really makes me like scared that this is like the mentality that someone thinks like this can't happen at all. So like if his daughter ever said something like this, he'd have that same excuse. It's like so scary that I don't know how these people can even be like parents, have like a child. And
she even argued against the notion that people ever came forward for clout, and said that even she knew better than to doubt a survivor.
Well, you know what though,
like,
yeah, and like words of advice for this kind of thing is like, she was right. She's like, it gets exhausting trying to defend yourself. Like, you shouldn't just like put your truth out.
Right.
People are all like, there's always gonna be people that won't believe you. Like, even if it's like hardcore, like there's evidence out there of everything that's happened with me, and like people still be like, I don't believe her.
Yo, I think that's good advice.
Yeah, you gotta have to like just share your truth and then just expect that half the people won't believe you. But that's who cares? Who cares if trolls?
I really want to also just continue to dispel this myth that people are coming forward for clout. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's like,
it looks like she's having a really good time with all the clout she's enjoying over there.
But again, those are like the young like kids, or just like incels, or just people who are not smart, like that think though. Nobody thinks that if you're like intelligent, or you're like really young yourself. If you're like a 17-year-old who thinks like that's how you like get clout, or I don't know what.
Oh.
Stop. I am so sick of people using mental health as an excuse to be like a shit person or not know what's going on in the world, because I have a lot of mental health problems, and I know not to lie about people, not to be delusional, not to accuse people of stuff that they didn't do, not to say someone wasn't essayed or whatever. And negative comments coming to you. You deserve more negative comments because you still don't grasp what you did to Seth and other victims that you offended, including your own audience, by saying, oh, they should be feeling this way. They reacted this way, so it must mean this. It's like so.
She even went in on how it's ridiculous for someone to doubt a survivor, simply because they themselves know the person being accused, and how that kind of mindset angered her.
Freaking Scott Sire trying to victim shame Seth and like trying to put the blame on like the victims of a situation with David and Jason that had nothing to do with. I went off. I did a whole rant about it on my second channel. I know a lot of you are probably like, who? Yeah, exactly. But it made my blood boil, because he was literally like invalidating people's feelings by saying David and Jason are like the nicest people in the world. That's your experience, Scott. Anyways,
and was so upset when her own story was questioned.
Okay, no, defend David in other aspects, not people who are victims of these things.
She even straight out said that she herself has never doubted a survivor.
On the latest H3 podcast, people are still going in on me not. One, I'll accept AB's apology, but I'm not like moving it past. And so many people are like, "Wow, Trisha, you've made a career off of saying you're sorry for things and people forgiving you and letting you grow from your mistakes. Like, I'm surprised you're not as quick to forgive him. Like, this is so disappointing." Well, a couple things. I've never like attacked if someone came forward with a story and they got criticized heavily for it, or even if they didn't get criticized, I never go against someone and say, "Oh, you know what? You're actually lying." All my scandals that people call me problematic and all that shit, okay, like I'll own up to it. Yeah, I have had scandals, but it's never me devaluing someone's personal trauma story, personal like, basically, I've never just straight up was like, you're a liar. That didn't happen. And for me, that is so traumatizing. I would never tell a victim of assault, like, oh, no, that's actually not right. You actually did this, and victim blame. I don't do that shit. So to compare the two is grossly misleading. That's very disgusting.
However, that isn't true. Trisha has a very long history of doubting survivors and defending the accused. Here she is defending a man simply because she knew him. The very thing she was enraged at Scotty Sire for doing when Scotty Sire defended his friend against accusations.
But I hate to say this, and I don't mean it like, oh, I don't believe them, but like, her story was really serious. Like, her story, not that I mean, they're all serious, but I definitely think there's different levels. And her story was so intense and like so crazy. I was like, why wouldn't you? Well, she said because his lawyers were, you know, he had really powerful lawyers. He was really influential in the music. So I guess I get it. But there's a celebrity I know who's been accused publicly by a couple girls. I've actually known him for a while. And I trust him. Like, I trust him a lot because we've never done anything. He has no reason to lie to me. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, it's completely false. Like, I'm so, he's like, I don't even know. I've never even met one of the girls. And I'm really, how can he prove, you know? But it just does suck if some people are making stuff up, if they are. And maybe every single one is truthful, but.
And here she was doubting more survivors, stating that people made up claims all of the time.
I'm gonna say all allegedly. I don't really know. Does anyone ever really know? When people go to jail, unless that person admits out of their mouth, like, people who even go to jail, like, sometimes didn't even do it, you know what I mean? But I guess they're false claims. That's so scary. It's like, anyone can just make up anything in this world.
Here she is doubting even more survivors in another situation.
But, like, Toby Turner, his vlog channel. And I don't know if it was, you know, he had a little bit of a scandal, whether allegations were true or not, like.
And again, doubting survivors another time when she yet again said that people just made up claims all the time.
Or just anyone that does like YouTube or anything, you have to be careful too of people like Drake. I told you that instance. This girl just like literally saying he'd be like and like crazy, like you could like people will make up anything, and like because you're like somebody, like it becomes a story, and then whether it's true or not, people just associate you with that. Be careful.
And here she is talking about how survivors should be acting if their stories are true, stating that they shouldn't be going online with it, but should be handling it offline.
The other thing is, I've watched the videos they upload of people's like journeys. Even the people who tell like their journeys or say they had a bad experience almost look like bad actors. If this happened to me and I was genuinely scared, I would be calling a lawyer. I wouldn't be talking about it online. You know what I mean? Like,
so much for never having doubted a survivor, right? Here she is doubting fellow YouTuber Stephanie, Sue, who she called problematic and manipulative after Stephanie came out with a video against another YouTuber who she said had mistreated her.
So, shout out Stephanie Sue. You are problematic and manipulative. Welcome to the trash bin, Stephanie Sue. You're trying to brand yourself, but no, you're officially branded as trash. You started on her friggin'. She made merch, guys. She made merch. It's like a manipulation of audience.
And Stephanie isn't the only one she called a liar. She also called Gabby Hanna a liar when Gabby claimed she had been struck.
So, Royce doesn't have his ghostwriter today. It's fine. I think we can still battle. I think we're good. No? You don't want to do it? I'm crying. Royce Gump didn't think that joke was very funny, and he hit me in the middle of a party and shattered my phone. I can show you that in a sec.
Hey, Gabby Hanna, let's not forget you lying about a man upping you.
And that's not even mentioning how she excused her own husband for his own allegations and called his accuser a liar. But this is only the half of it. She has a long history of defending and promoting the accused. Stay tuned for part 2,